Hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to the 34th edition of the Industry Insider Podcast. Thank you for listening to the EKN Radio Network. Of course, David Cole and I do what we can to get a lot of content out. These are unique days in the 25 years that I've been in this sport. Never had something like this happen before, where we've all essentially been on lockdown, on quarantine, trying to deal with a global pandemic. COVID-19 and the coronavirus obviously changing the way we all look at daily life as we all focus on trying to shut down the onset of the disease, the virus here in North America, both in Canada and the U.S. and globally as well. Again, interesting days for sure, and it's for me. And I'll introduce my guest here today first, but it is definitely interesting days. I'm sure that he's never seen it as well because he's been in the sport much longer than I have. But joining me today here on the EKN Radio Network from Margay Racing Products, Keith Freber. Keith, thank you so much for joining us. And where are you at the shop right now? Are you at home? Where are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Rob. Yeah, unprecedented times, and forget about have I ever seen anything like this in the sport before? I mean, have I ever seen anything like this in my 52 years of life? Yeah. I mean, this is and I'm not laughing to make light of the situation, but it's just mind numbing right now. So right now I'm at the shop. I am the only one in the office, trying to maintain some semblance of business. We still have customers calling. We still have shipments coming in. We are expecting an international shipment in this afternoon. We're expecting another international shipment next week. I do have two people in the shop producing product right now, and the rest of our team is working from home. Our goal, as I stated in a video last week on Facebook, was to keep our team fully employed and paid throughout this situation, and that's what we're doing. We're trying really. It's going to get interesting. It was easy to say that a week ago. And, a week later, it starts to get a little bit more interesting, and challenging, as you're well aware. But we're trying to be good citizens. We're trying to be responsible business owners. We're trying to keep things flowing, and part of that is to hit the pause button a little bit on karting and obviously everything going on, but it's a great opportunity to talk about how we can sort of regroup in karting and maybe shift the focus a little bit and talk about where the focus should be going forward. So interesting times indeed. And again, I appreciate all you're doing to keep karting at the front of all of our passionate enthusiasts in the front of their minds and help us all sort of get through this time and until we can get back to the track.
I find it interesting. One of the things I was going to bring up at the start there was the fact that when you live the sport like we do 24/7, or even those who race as club racers, regional racers, national racers, whatever it is, we see people battling back and forth. We see negative and positive battles on social media where people are commenting back and forth, and it ends up degrading, and people get pissed off at each other, whatever it may be. But at a time like this, when we're all sitting on the couch, it's kind of an opportunity to kind of look back or look maybe inside, get a little more introspective and say, wow, we're super lucky to be able to do what we do. And to be able, not even just us in the industry, but anybody who races, who loves karting, who loves any kind of motorsports for that matter, but karting for our purposes here, that, man, when you can't race, it's tough. Us up in Canada, we wouldn't be racing anyways. Our first time ever to get on the track is maybe late March, usually early April for practice. Most of the programs don't start until the first couple of weeks or maybe even the end of May for some of the club races. So we're not really missing that much. We're all in the garage still, getting ready to go. But for the rest of the drivers more further south, man, it's when you can't have something you love so much, I think you realize you take it for granted to a certain extent.
Oh, absolutely. And there's nothing like a global pandemic to put things in perspective,
right?
In a big hurry. I mean, it's really mind blowing to me. I mean, literally 14 to 20 days ago, you and I were both full speed ahead with all of our plans for 2020. And I was amped up for this year. We've had a fantastic year in 2019. you've got a lot of things popping on many different fronts. And I mean, I could just tell both you and I were just sort of charged up and ready to
Super.
go. Right.
Yep.
I was on the verge of making a significant equipment purchase for here at Margay. And fortunately I have a very short attention span, and and something got my attention, and I didn't hit the submit button on the order. And man, 5 days later, the world's changed. Right. And it does give you the opportunity to put things in perspective. I've got a little picture on my desk that our buddy Mark Schweigen did for me of me racing up at Mid-State Kart Club in Springfield, Illinois. And looking at that picture, I've been doing this for, I don't know, 40 some odd years. Right. And
Yep.
any other day I look at that picture and go, oh yeah, there I am riding around a go-kart track. Right. Big deal. Today I'm looking at that picture and going, wow, look at that, man. That was so cool. Here I am riding around a go-kart track, and for the record, leading Kenny Williams, who's sort
Wow.
of no
There you
slouch.
go.
So I
Throw that in there.
gotta get that in there. But yeah, we take it for any other day. I wouldn't even glance at that picture and give it two thoughts. Today I'm sitting here looking at it right now, thinking, my gosh, what I wouldn't give to get back to what I wouldn't give to load the cart in the back of the truck tomorrow and just do a solo shot over to Gateway Motorsports Park and Gateway Kartplex, or up to Springfield or Quincy, and just go out, even if it's just by myself, and just go
Yeah.
run for the afternoon, just me and my go-kart. So yeah, it's definitely been a change of perspective over the last couple of weeks. Unbelievable how fast this has happened. I mean, and certainly your involvement in the IndyCar world. Wow. What was
Yeah.
St. Pete like?
Well, and that's just it. I had David Cole over at the SCUSA race, the opening round of the Pro Tour, the Winter Nationals at NOLA. He was there with Xander Clements because there was a conflict. I'm at the IndyCar weekend, and really, in not even a space of 48 hours, probably 36 hours, we went from, hey, we're going to be here. My mindset's like, okay, this thing's kind of starting to explode a little bit. It's starting to develop a little more, the whole coronavirus. And let's get through. We're going to be able to get through this weekend. We're all going to have a good time getting the season started,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll see what happens after that. How fast did it happen? Well, the announcement's coming down that it's going to be just racers only. Then it's boom, and all of a sudden, I'm back at the hotel on Friday night, rescheduling flights to get back to Canada for Saturday. I've been in quarantine for 12 days because I was out of the country. So, I've been in my home office for 12 days, and things just change so quickly. And of course, people on the phone with each other. I'm messaging David at NOLA. Hey, how are things going over there? What are they thinking? Because, obviously there was no decree at that point that events had to get shut down. Then we heard that there was 250 people. So maybe SCUSA was going to be able to squeak theirs in still, even though the IndyCar program at St. Pete got shut down. It was probably one of the weirdest 48 hours of my life, and probably any of us in the world of motorsports, seeing so many major events get canceled when everybody's there. We're all at the track already. How are we not running this race? How can we not do this by ourselves? We've already been with each other. It was just the oddest thing, I think. Crazy.
It really is. It's just surreal. I can't think of any other way to describe it. And I was so looking forward to Sunday afternoon watching the IndyCar race. I'm like, wow, that'll be weird with nobody in the stands, but you know what? It's going to be a heck of a race. There's so many exciting news stories, and St. Pete is always, an exciting turn one and an exciting race. And I was pumped up. I mean, and then and I kept pointing to that. I'm like, hey, they're still racing in St. Pete, so all is not lost, right?
Yeah.
There's still something going on out there. And at the same time, they were going to be running the trucks in Atlanta, and so I was looking forward to that too. And then the cancellations start coming one after another, and it's just like, holy smokes! And the deal that happened in NOLA, really unfortunate for a lot of people, and I think there's a little bit more backstory there that I would love to learn more about in the future. It sounds like there was some things going on that we don't know about, and I'd love to get the full story sometime.
Well, and SCUSA actually just coming out today saying, obviously SCUSA taking the hit as well. You bring 70 something staff into a race. You've got them in hotels already. Same with
Sure.
every team that was there. A lot of outlay. SCUSA's actually announced that their plan moving forward would be to move the Spring Nationals, which was set for the first week of May. They're moving it for, I believe, the last week of May or the first week of June. That would correspond with kind of the optimism shown by the new IndyCar schedule, which will, of course, start in Detroit. And then what they'll do is that their plan is to run 3 main events at the Spring Nats and 3 main events at the Summer Nats. If you were one of the drivers entered at NOLA at the Winter Nationals, and they say if you have your same tires, I'm assuming people could have used their tires. Maybe they didn't use their tires yet. They'll be able to either buy another set or whatever it may be. They don't have to buy tires, and they get that Friday race, that first race for free, which I think is great. So
yeah,
at least give the guys an opportunity to try to get those 6 rounds. And again, we're all doing that. Are we not?
Sure.
Keith will give you the opportunity to talk about it as well. But, WKA just announcing that they're going to reschedule their karting challenge at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Andy Saisman's rock program, the Challenge of the Americas, he moved to the mid-May to be on a Rock Sonoma event corresponding with that club event. Will that get moved again? We'll see. But I know everybody's working hard to somehow try to jam our entire season to what could end up being, 5 months at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's going to get real interesting come May 1st.
Yeah.
I think we're going to start firing off again. We have our Ignite Challenge opener at the new Autobahn kart track in Joliet, Illinois at Autobahn Country Club up there, Kart Circuit Autobahn. That is scheduled for April 25th. So, we're in discussions with the great people up at Autobahn right now. And as of this moment, we're still full speed ahead for that. And we're hoping everybody will be on track for that. And of course, still using best practices, even at that time. It's going to be interesting when we do get back to the track. But, you've got an organization like Autobahn that just spent a ginormous sum of money upgrading their karting facility. And then to get hit with this right at the start of the season for them is it's painful to see. But they are going to be around for the long haul. They've got a beautiful facility. They've got a fantastic management team, and they're pros up there. They know exactly what they're doing. So we're honored to be working with them. Looking forward to that, and also picked up some new tracks, that we're going to be working with in the Ignite program. The great track up in New York, Cuddybackville, as we used to call it.
That's it, right? Yeah.
Oakland Valley Raceway Park. Tim Hannon, Chris Rock, and a bunch of the guys up there. We're super excited to be working with them. We had a great time with those guys down in Florida at the SCUSA event, the winter events down there. And then Sean Bailiff. Sean is now pushing our Ignite program at Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which is another great facility. And
he's got some good plans for that place too, which is amazing. I don't want to say too much. I'm sure you've talked to Sean about it. I'm going to have him on a podcast here real soon. We're actually going to get him on one of my IG live chats, Instagram chats next week. But got some great plans for that track in Cincinnati. And, he's absolutely one of the best guys in the sport that I've met over my 25 years. And I just think, there's going to be so much good things coming out of Cincinnati for sure.
Yeah. We're fortunate that we've worked with Sean for, oh gosh.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's thrown some like the old TNR 100 photos up from back in the 80s, right?
I mean, I think I first started working with Sean in 1990, 91 maybe, when I first started working here and running Margay. But if you know Sean at all, you know that everything he does is first class. He does a nice job with everything. He's a great promoter. Everything he does just looks great and is done right. So we're really excited to be working with him.
The connection that I had with Sean and I thought was very, very cool. I started I ran a half a year on I think it was an Invader chassis up in Canada. I did like 6 or 7 races out of the back of our Zephyr station wagon and didn't know what I was doing. That was 87. And then 95, I was 27 years old when I actually got into the sport, saved up a bunch of money to buy a $1,700 used MXK. An MXK Mirage. I bought it off the track champion from the 2 years before. And it had a Sean Bailiff fiberglass driver fairing on it.
Yeah.
And I had no idea who Sean Bailiff was. I just thought it was super cool, right? So, man, this thing's awesome. And then later, the way life kind of changes and things. I was just a racer back then. I worked for Performance Racing News, and he ends up being a client of mine, one of our partners at ekartingnews.com. And and just now he's become a good friend. So it's super cool that and it's good for him to be with you. I know that the program they've put together for their Pro-Am Championship at
Mhm.
the Motorsports Country Club. I know they were wondering, what do we do? Do we go to an open 206 category? I know he and I talked a bit about the Ignite program, and it seemed to me the Ignite was an absolute perfect fit for him, bringing people in from the
Yeah.
country club and
Yeah.
whatever it may be to that. You guys have just built a program, and you and I keep using the terms, it lowers the barrier of entry, whether
Yeah.
it be financial or even mentally, right? You don't get as intimidated when you know you're in exactly the same cart as the guy beside you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We've had, I think we're in our 6th year now with the program, and it's been really good for us. And we hope it's been good for karting too. I mean, we felt like there was a need for that program. There were too many entry barriers into the sport, too many questions that were asked of new people
Yep.
getting into the sport. It was far too complex and it was far too overwhelming. So we tried to address all of those issues and make it easier. We tried to provide a clear pathway into the sport. Um, and I want to be clear on something. We take some heat from people like, oh, we don't need another 206 class. We already have a 206 class. Yeah, absolutely. And we've never wanted to move existing go-karters from the class they run now into our Ignite class. That's never been the goal. The goal has always been from day one, hey, you want to start kart racing? This is where you start right here. We want to use Ignite as a vehicle, truly a vehicle, to bring new people into the sport. We're not interested in pulling existing people from this class or that class. Hey, if they want to come join us, that's great. But the focus is really on trying to get new people into the sport. And also, we've had some success with people that have gotten out of the sport in the past
Yeah.
because it got overly complicated. It got overly expensive. It got to be too much work to be competitive. We've got some great stories of people that were sort of on karting hiatus, and they got back into the sport specifically because of Ignite. And I've had some really great people pull me aside and say, hey, man, I just want to thank you for doing this because I wouldn't be racing karts again today if it wasn't for this class. And when you hear that, I mean, I not trying to sound like we have it all figured out by any stretch, but it makes you feel really, really good when you hear that from people that you respect and have worked with for a lot of years and from way back when. So we feel like we've got a good program going. We hope to keep expanding upon it, and we hope to see other strong regional manufacturers and players. Hey, if they want to do a similar program in their area, go for it. Karting will all be better off. I mean, not to sort of talk about back in the day, but you and I both have a tendency of doing that.
Yep, we do. It
but,
happens.
uh, but we used to have a lot of U.S. based manufacturers, right? We had Emic out in California. We had Invader. Coyote, of course, is still around. Track Magic. So many other great sprint chassis manufacturers back in the day. And sadly, many of them are gone. But when we had all of those manufacturers back in the day, I feel like the participation level was higher, the intensity level was as high as it is at any race today. But there was just sort of more regional. There was more depth to the involvement than there is now, I think. And
You know what I would put on that? It's interesting because back then, at that particular period, when you were trackside, you could put a face or certain faces to chassis.
mm-hmm.
Right nowadays, we don't see Roberto Robazzi over here when OTK is running something. We don't see. Honestly, we do actually see Ronnie Sala from Burrell quite a
Mm-hmm.
bit over here at some of the
Sure.
major events. But back then, it was Ron Ebbing was there. Fausto Vitello, George Barros, all the guys from Track Magic were there.
Yeah.
Wayne Wispelar
Sure.
and Sandy Gregory were trackside for Coyote, and the same goes now with Jim Lapari.
Yeah,
But
Jeff
right?
Nelson with Invader,
Yes, exactly. And whoever else it may be, the guys were there, right?
Yeah.
And I think, and that's something that obviously is still held in the dirt in the speedway worlds
Sure.
because
Absolutely.
they're not coming, they're all still there. But that's something we used to always see, and that's. And really, we've seen it, right? We've seen the domestic manufacturing kind of slide into more of the four-cycle area right now, where people still, really, really still believe in the product. Jim Lapari's out there, like we said. You get guys from Ionic Edge.
Paul Rice at MGM. Great
Paul
guy.
as well, for sure. Yep, no doubt about that. And they're there.
By the way, have you had Paul on a podcast?
Listen, it's on my list. It's about 5 down. He's definitely on my list. I like Paul a lot, man.
Yeah.
They're
He'll keep
great
you
people.
entertained.
Yeah, I'm going to get him on here for sure. Because again, they've done such a tremendous job, and you know what? Give it up to them. They're marketing like crazy. They do their own Facebook live shows, and I love it, man. It's like, I think it brings me back to the Brickyard when I saw so many different carts out there. You know, the Comet Eagle as well. I had a chance to drive the Comet Eagle, which was a ton of fun to drive, working with Kerry Lawson and Colton Smith over there at Mark's place, and it was. Again, another one of the other reasons why I love four-cycle racing so much. Not just because that's where I come from; it's what fed my love of the sport. I remember my first time driving that used cart I bought. I remember that first race I was in and how overwhelmingly emotional I was to finally be able to be racing at 27 years of age. I never really raced before, and it was just It was amazing to me to be able to do that. And I remember seeing the manufacturers that we had. We had a bunch of Canadian manufacturers back then as well, guys making Canadian go-karts. So. Yeah. I drove a slack cart, Bobby Slack.
Sure.
He had a sprint cart that we put together, and it was those were cool times. And I love seeing that now. I think there's a lot of excitement right now in four-cycle racing, and once we get back to racing, it's cool to have so many manufacturers again, at least in the four-cycle.
Yeah, and four cycle's definitely doing well. Two cycle, boy, that's a whole nother chat we can have. But I mean, talking about four cycles and what we're going to do when we get back to the track and when we get back to some semblance of normal, I want to just try to put it in people's minds to think about the local tracks again. Yeah. And the local shop and the local guy. There's always a guy, right, that supports that local track. And those are the people that are the backbone of the sport, the lifers. And they keep this thing going so everybody can come in and have a lot of fun as a family, as an individual, and do something that they're really passionate about. And without all of these gatekeepers at the local tracks and the lifers, man, this deal isn't going to work. I mean, I think karting was in a pretty good place in 2019 and was doing pretty well, but I always said it was fragile though, right? And what happened here in the last 3 weeks is I mean, it's knocked the best of industries down entirely. So obviously karting is going to take a big hit here. It's something that we do for fun. It's something that we do for enjoyment. It's something that people don't have to do. But there's a lot of people here that try to make a living at it. And if we want to continue to see karting around the way it has been in the past and then grow into the future, we really need to remind people to support their local tracks, support their local shops, support the local series, the local race promoter, all the people that it takes to make these things happen. We need to remember that they're not making a lot of money on this deal. They're doing it because they love it, and maybe they can pay the bills a little bit and get to do something they enjoy. So without all those people putting that effort into it, it's going to be tough for us to get back to normal. So please support your local kart shops, kart tracks, and promoters.
Let's go to a quick break here right now, Keith. When we come back, let's hit on that a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about club racing. Let's talk a little bit about the industry that actually supports the foundation of the sport. So we'll do that, folks. Stay with us. More to come here on the EKN Radio Network. Cometic Gasket is a leading worldwide supplier of gaskets and engine sealing solutions for karting, automotive performance, power sports, original equipment, and the remanufactured engine industries. Cometic karting gaskets are available as OE replacement top-end kits or as individual gaskets and seals. Just like competitive karters, Cometic can operate on the fly and has a unique capability to customize any gasket to meet specific engine requirements and clearances. All of Cometic's fiber materials are asbestos-free and do not require any additional sealants. Viton oil ring cylinder head seals are used in each two-cycle kit, and Cometic's four-cycle engine kits feature only the most advanced multi-layer steel head gaskets. Cometic can tailor to engine builder-specific needs through bulk ordering and packaging flexibility. Cometic gaskets are must-haves for championship-winning teams across multiple disciplines of both professional and amateur motorsports. Cometic Gasket, sealing championships since 1989. If you're searching for a program to elevate you up the motorsports ladder, Crosslink Competition is your next step. Crosslink Competition provides arrive and drive programs that include driver coaching, data analysis, and engine rental programs for all major events in the 2020 season. Team Crosslink is scheduled to compete at the SCUSA Pro Tour, Rock Cup USA, and the United States Pro Kart Series events, as well as regional and local programs from their home base in Texas. Crosslink Competition is a full retail shop for the Xpree and OTK parts line. Many new and used packages are available right now through their Dallas headquarters. Drivers interested in making the jump from karting to cars, Crosslink provides a streamlined opportunity for you. Team Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports was the 2019 F4 United States Championship title winner, providing the perfect transition within the same operation. Drivers looking to compete with an elite-level karting program or to pick up gently used team equipment are asked to call 214-432-4413. Be sure to follow all the team's social media platforms at Team Crosslink. Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network, episode number 34 of the Industry Insider. My name's Rob Howden, joined by veteran industry member Keith Freber from Margay Racing Products. Before we went to the break, talking a little bit about club racing and the people that support it, because it's interesting. People that come into the sport, you know, we talk about big manufacturers, the distributors, the big names that you see nationally. They, of course, if things are going well, have dealers all around the country in different pockets of areas, whatever chassis brand, whatever product brand you're talking about. Those people are the frontline soldiers, the people that with the shops or that trailer they bring out to the club race every weekend. And Keith, they're not just people selling product. I like to use the word almost like a mentor or a teacher, because I remember when I was there, you know, my first year, I was very, very lucky. My first year of racing, the people I parked beside were car racing people. They knew who my dad was. They were into car racing themselves, and so they kind of took me under their wing. And the guy's name's Adam Ross. He was a Margay driver. He had a Puma, to be honest. And I've known Adam forever. He's now he's the voice of the NASCAR Canada Pinty Series in Canada.
Wow.
So he's a fellow announcer and has become a very good friend of mine over the last 25 years. But it was those small little, at my little place, it wasn't even a 20-foot trailer. The one guy that I bought a lot of stuff off of, I think he had about a 10-foot trailer. But he's the guy that had the gears and the chain and the oil and the fuel line and everything I needed.
And the knowledge.
I was just going to say, and I was able to buy product for him, but he's the guy I went to every time. What do I do here? This is not working. My engine's not starting. You know, it's just, they're the mentors. They're the keepers of all they just take care of us. And I think in a time like this, when a lot of us move on from club racing, maybe go to regional racing, maybe become national racers, I'd love to put the challenge out to top national racers who have been in the sport for a long time. Take a weekend off and go back to your club. And I'm gonna start an initiative. Dave and I were talking about this. I want to start an initiative. We'll come up with the hashtag. We'll come up with the initiative, whatever it may be. Go back to your club and spend a weekend at the track or a day at the track and just go pit to pit. Can I help you? And say, because social media is so strong now, Keith, if let's say I put something like a John Crow, although I know John already does that, but you get people, say you're coming to a track. I'm coming out. I'll be here. This is what I'm wearing. If you need me, find me. I'm here for you. Right? Whether it's driving instruction or working on the car. I think if we all give back a little bit once we go racing again, we could turn this into a major positive.
Yeah, I agree 110%. And that's something that I had mentioned in a video message I put out last week. And
you did, yeah.
Return to your roots. You know, unfortunately, the SCUSA events have been canceled or postponed. USPKS has been canceled or postponed. WKA, same thing. And you've got a lot of national racers out there. And you know what? All of those national racers, all of the best in the country, all of the best kart racers out there, they all started at a local track. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them. And if we want to grow the sport, if we want to bring new people into the sport, we have to do everything we can to get people in the door to these small local tracks, and I couldn't agree more when you say, hey, take a weekend off, go back to your local track and let people know you're going. And again, just go there to help. Don't go there to race. Don't go there to
just help
them and lap them. You know? Just come back and socialize and make it easier, because karting can be overwhelming. It's very enjoyable, obviously very enjoyable. It's easy to get passionate about, but it can also be very overwhelming when you're new. So it's a tremendous opportunity for a guy like Colton Ramsey in Springfield, Illinois, who travels all over the country racing at the highest level and has for many years. How cool would it be for him to go back to Mid-State Kart Club on an off weekend for him, or any weekend,
Yep.
and when Mid-State opens up again, and just make the rounds and say, hey, you know what? I was watching you get into that corner up there, and I think if you turn in a little bit later, you're going to carry more speed off, and that's going to help you all the way down the straightaway. Next thing you know, that young woman that's racing there, she goes out and picks up a half a second, and all of a sudden she's much more competitive and much more engaged, and she's got a new buddy in Colton.
That's it. Yeah.
We just need to see more of that. And
Well, let's put the challenge out to guys like Ryan Norberg, Brandon Jarsakrak, Christian Brooks. I'm thinking the top three of the ECAN driver rankings, right? Jake French, Billy Musgrave, AJ Myers, some of these guys, these shifter kart guys, just show up at a racetrack. And I know some of these guys already do that, but I'm saying if that's a movement we do at the start of the club season, it's going to inject so much energy and so much positivity into the sport right now that people, and they're going to get new fans, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the cool thing. Make connections.
New customers.
Yeah.
And I mean, I always talk about karting as a pyramid, and some really smart people shared that concept with me a long time ago. And there's three pieces to that pyramid. There's the base, right? And that is local level kart racing. And you can't have anything else on that pyramid. You can't have anything above the base without strong local programs. And in the middle of the pyramid, you've got all of regional karting, regional series, regional programs that are the next step up from the base. And then at the top of the pyramid, of course, is the pinnacle, the point. That's the sharpest end of the competition. That's where all of the really great racers want to compete. And that's what a lot of us gravitate towards, right? Go all the way back to the late 90s and the Constructors' Cup days.
Yep.
Super cool racing, really great stuff. And the whole industry kind of went all in behind the Constructors' Cup. Everybody was competing there. It was really great. And at the end of 3 years, we all sort of stood around and looked at each other and said, geez, where'd all our money go?
Wow.
But our focus, and my point is, our focus was so oriented towards the top of the pyramid, tip of the pyramid. We had blinders on to everything else. We were just so focused on the next Constructors' Cup race and running Formula A and Formula Super A and all of this crazy stuff that was really
I'm guilty of it as well. And I've said this before. I was too.
Cool stuff, right?
Yep.
Really neat stuff that we totally forgot about what supports all of that. And you can't support that type of racing. You can't have high-level racing at SCUSA or USPKS or WKA. You can't have those high-level national series without a strong foundation. You've got to have a strong base to that pyramid. You have to have a solid middle section to that pyramid. And it's a ladder program. You move from the local to the regional level and then up to the national level. So none of that's really cool stuff that we like as an industry is going to happen without a solid base.
Well, and to be real, if national racing stopped as we know it now, karting would still be fine.
Yeah.
Because of the base, the top national level, which I estimate numbers wise it being about 3% of the racers in this country.
Yeah.
If that goes away, some of the industry is going to struggle. Those people that focus solely on national racing, of course, they will struggle. They'll have to adapt and work their way down to regional and club racing. But the sport would be fine without that top level. And really,
without the base, forget it.
Without the base, you're in trouble. Yeah, you're in trouble. And it's interesting because, as I said, I was guilty of that early too. We got into a focus, as I did with Shifter Kart Illustrated magazine. And we did some club stuff, but even on eKarting News for a while there, we were really, really focused on top level national stuff. David Cole and I were traveling, to all these races, 15, 20 races a year. We're traveling, we're covering events. And I kind of took a step back. A number of people from regionals and club racing, talked to me about the fact, how do we get coverage? What do we do? And I kind of had a realization. Now, this was probably 4 or 5 years ago, really probably when the 206 started coming in. Mm-hmm. And David and I sat down and we came up with the Operation Grassroots hashtag and a kind of our focus on grassroots racing. And we just totally changed things. And we had that realization, like I think everybody in the sport has at one time or another, that, hey, you know what, we gotta we're grassroots racers ourselves. You're not going to see David Cole and I running the Super Nats or a top level event, because that's not what we do. We're covering other things. We're grassroots racers. We revel at the Rock Island Grand Prix. I love running club events, whatever it may be, right? We had such a good time at the Battle of the Brickyard. I cannot wait to get back to Quincy. That was a change. And I think the whole sport will have that, but we also need to if we just talk about this right now, that's the focus right now. Let's make sure that we take the time while we're on the couch here to think about supporting the club shops, all that kind of stuff. And whether all that means is you pick up the phone and order a couple sets of tires right now that you're going to need in 2 months, this is the time to make some kind of an investment in the shops that you really, really want to be there when you get back in a month and a half or 2 months.
Yeah. As I said earlier, we can't, people can't go racing without the shops.
Yep.
And the shops can't survive without people racing. So it's very important that I know it's a difficult time and a lot of uncertainty, but I know we're going to come out of this, and I know there's still going to be racing. And if you have the means and if you have the comfort level at this time to, support a small business, now's a great time to support your local shop, your local race promoter, your local track with an annual membership, whatever it is, anything you can do to throw some encouragement towards some of the smaller businesses. Well, they're all small businesses in karting. I mean, who's kidding who? We're all small businesses.
That's right. Yeah.
Anything you can do, though, to keep everybody engaged and to keep yourself engaged, it would go a long way.
But really, Keith, like you said, great little one line. If you have the means to do it, of course. If you don't, if you're struggling like some other people are right now, we get it. But if you have the means, let's say that last year you bought 6 sets of tires. If you have the means, order those tires now.
Yeah.
Put the money down at the guy that guy that you buy from at the track every weekend. Yep. Put the money down now. Send that guy $1,500 and say, "These are for my 6 sets of tires this year."
Yeah.
I got you. Right now, I'll take care of you.
I mean,
that'll change somebody's life.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, things like that really go a long way right now. And I mean, it's a crazy, crazy time. The boys just pulled up, or a truck just pulled up here as we're speaking, and I've got an international shipment that just landed. And so, the bills keep coming when you're a small business and a small manufacturer. Product that we ordered several months ago, that's been en route was still en route, and it's still getting delivered. And so the warehouse is sort of piling up with carts and product and everything else. And we're ready to get back to the track, and I'm sure everybody else is too. So we're looking forward to that point.
Let's take one more break here on episode 34 of the Industry Insider with Keith Freber. When we come back, let's get a chance to talk about when we go racing with the Ignite program, because I'm super excited. Let's talk about some of the majors. Let's talk about events that you're excited about. Let's talk racing. We've talked all about what's happening right now with the coronavirus and how we're all kind of sitting in here trying to take care of our sport, making sure everybody comes out on the other side looking good. But let's talk racing when we get back, folks. Stay with us. More to come here on the EKN Radio Network. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. Trackside support and arrive and drive programs at many of karting's biggest East Coast events, full product sales and service, and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer private one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. We're also your Midwest home for Tony Kart and IAME, and we're your source for MG and Evinco tires in the region. Tony Kart quality cannot be beat, so call us today to put you in a new chassis for your next event. In 2020, we'll be racing and providing arrive and drive programs for the full SuperKarts USA Pro Tour and the Great Lakes Pro Kart Challenge, the WK's Kart Week in Daytona, and exciting events like the USAC Battle at the Brickyard and the Rock Island Grand Prix. From arrive and drive and coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. Trinity Karting Group has a long history in the sport, a winning pedigree, and we're dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com. The Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is where out-of-the-box ease and outstanding consistency meet to create legendary races. Briggs & Stratton's history in motorsports dates back to when the first engines came off the assembly line in the early 1900s. Their focus on the grassroots level continues to help build generations of racers. Since 2008, the Briggs & Stratton 206 has gained a following that has the engine powering the largest fields in North American karting today. From the club level and track programs to traveling regional series and national events, Briggs & Stratton competition provides the most exciting racing in the sport. Engineered and hand-built exclusively for racing, every Briggs 206 engine is power tested and serialized before it goes in the box. Karters can take that engine straight from the box to their kart and be on the podium at the end of the race day. To learn more about the 206 engine and to find a North American dealer near you, head to briggsracing.com. Briggs & Stratton Racing. What powers you? Welcome back to the 34th episode of the Industry Insider. One of my good friends, Keith Freber from Margay Racing Products, joining me here today. And we've talked a lot about how the sport has evolved over the last couple of years, how it's kind of reeling right now with the coronavirus and the hashtag stay home movement that's happening right now. And of course, we all need to do that, do whatever we can to practice social distancing and washing your hands. And let's take care of each other and make sure that everybody is staying away and try to halt the progress of COVID-19. Let's start talking, Keith, about racing, because again, I'm super excited this year. Anytime my schedule rolls out, I never know how it's going to be. You know, I base first off of IndyCar. Where can I go with the road to Indy? And then, of course, I have the SuperKarts USA events and Challenge of the Americas, whatever it may be. The Iowa race was always on top of the launch of the Battle of the Brickyard, which pissed me off because I wasn't able to go. Then we don't go to Iowa. IndyCar changes Iowa, and boom, all of a sudden, I get a chance last year to go to the Battle of the Brickyard, which I'm telling you, of my 25 years, probably the first or second of the best races I've ever been to. I had such a good time with that. I was exhausted. You guys rolled out the red carpet for your Margay Ignite Arrive and Drive program, which is, I think, just stellar. I will recommend that to anybody. I had such a good time working with Mike Birdsell. But man, it was 100 degrees after every session. I'm stripping down.
It was warm.
Dude, I was out of shape though. Like, come on. I was 51 now, 50 years of age, but I had such a good time. And then schedule the way it is, things kind of open up for me. Quincy in the Park is open for me, and Terry Trader calls and says, I want you on the microphone with Randy Kugler, and I jumped at the chance to bring the EK and Trackside Live program there. I knew you super excited to get Quincy back on the program because, of course, really one of the highlights for the whole Margay program over the last, 30-something years, right?
Absolutely. And you know, you talk about these cool national level events, and we were just talking about how important it is to race at the local level. And so I just want to say something about the way our Ignite program ties both of those things together.
Start with that. Perfect. Yeah.
It's kind of contradictory to say, hey, we're racing this entry-level program at Indianapolis Motor Speedway at one of the largest events of the year, or with the SCUSA Winter Tour down in Florida. And the way we look at it is we are providing an opportunity for those people that we've brought in at the lower level, at the local level, at the regional level, or not even regional level, but at the club level, at the local track level. We're providing a pathway, an easy pathway for those people to go see what the next level looks like. Like, you know, a lot of local racers are never going to take it upon themselves to travel down to Florida and compete in a SCUSA race or see what that even looks like. It's completely foreign to them. And so we took, we had a total of 64 entries across the 2 weekends down at the SCUSA event. And I would say of those 64 entries, more than half had never been to a national level event like that. And they were just like blown away. Wow,
yeah, 64 huge smiles.
Yes. They had an amazing time. And if nothing else, a lot of those guys just had a fantastic time that weekend. Said that was really cool. I can't believe I got to do that. That was tremendous. I got to race at Miami Homestead and AMR Raceway down there. And they had a great experience. Some of those people will go, wow, that was really awesome. I want to go do that again. And so now we're We're expanding the participation level from the local racers. We're showing them what else is out there and giving them an opportunity to race against top level drivers as well. Gabby Chavez raced with us down there. James French, a lot of other
Santino Ferrucci.
Ferrucci. Good
Yeah.
grief. How crazy
Yeah.
is that? You
I
can
know.
take your Ignite cart that you're racing over at Midstate Kart Club or Gateway Kartplex or TNT Kartways or wherever. You can take that cart, go down to Florida, and you can race against Santino Ferrucci in the exact same equipment. So
Exactly.
but that's our Ignite Majors program. That's the top level. And we feel it's important to compete at that level and have racing at that level to show people what it's like and give them something to aspire to if they choose to do so. We're not saying you have to go do this or, including it in any sort of points program. It's just, hey, this is there.
Yeah.
And if you want to compete at that level, here's an easy way to go do it. And you get
And
to
you're offering the experience, Keith. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Right. For that guy Gateway, how is he going to go to that race?
Yeah.
How would he do that? You guys offer the experience. And you make it easy. It's a turnkey experience. All you got to do is say yes, and you come to it. It's the same with you guys working with USAC Karting to make sure that the Margay Ignite program was part of the battle at the Brickyard. And for me, it's I love what Mike Burrell from USAC Karting said. It's the country's largest club race.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yes, it's a feel like a national because it's so big and everybody knows about it and it's 400 and something plus entries. Yeah, but if you go there, it just felt like this badass, really, really high intensity but fun club race. Right. Everybody's there having a great time. We're not talking top level stuff. There was a couple of big trailers, but it wasn't packed full of toter homes and trailers and huge. There was a lot of trucks and guys in the back of a pickup truck and easy ups.
Which is awesome. And that's what
awesome.
Karting is supposed to be in every person's sport. It's supposed
Agreed.
to be accessible to a wide range of people with a diverse background, a diverse economic background. It's supposed to be accessible to a wide group of people. And that's exactly what USAC Karting has done with their events. They've catered to that crowd. And for us, again, with the Ignite program there, we really like it because we see people like that drive in from Florida, drive in from New York, drive in from Oklahoma, Tennessee, wherever, Wisconsin. They come in from all over with the exact same equipment, and they know that when they show up at that race, I've got the exact same equipment as the guy next to me. I don't have to worry about, did I buy the latest and greatest clutch or whatever it is today. And we have some great racing. We have a lot of fun, and a lot of friendships are made. A lot of good times are had. A lot of beer is usually consumed too. As you mentioned, it's pretty warm.
Yep. It was warm. That happened.
And I know we're running out of time here. So and we're talking about beer again. I don't know why you and I always do that, but I would like to know, we're talking about Quincy. I want to hear you real quickly, your favorite Quincy memory.
Oh God, you're going to do this, aren't you? All right. So yeah. All right. Oh, I love it. So Keith, you invite me to come down. Yeah, I was very new at National Kart News. You have to come. You have to come to Quincy in the Park. All right. So there's even more to the story. I fly into St. Louis. Yep. I get a tour of the shop, the factory, the Margay factory, which I think is super cool. You and I and Darren Rudolph climb into the truck, the dually, with the big trailer on the back. Do you remember almost dying on the way to Quincy?
Yeah, I was driving. You were
driving.
It was pretty vivid. Sure.
We're rolling up the road, and some lady's in front of us, and she decides she's going to lock the brakes up because she wants to turn left across the road to go the other direction.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't know how many thousands of pounds we are. You're on the brakes. You're on the trailer brakes. We're all holding on. We go down into the ditch with the full that's a 40-something foot trailer, right?
40-foot fifth wheel. Yeah.
The gooseneck. Back up top. And out of the trailer on the way there. I remember us looking at each other like, I can't believe we're still alive.
And I was just thinking to myself, well, yeah, that's just Quincy, man. That's just another part of the experience. That's nothing.
Wow.
Wait till tomorrow.
So I get there, and I get one of the highlights of my career. Early on, obviously, I got a chance to meet Gus Trader, an absolute legend in our sport. And Gus treats me like he's known me forever.
Sure.
Hop in the car, takes me for a drive around Quincy to show me the place. Then I hop in a golf cart. We do the drive around the track. I think you were with us in the golf cart, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm loving this place. This is great. This is so super exciting. A couple too many beers on Saturday night. You and Rudolph, I think you said I got Dan Schmalzoff's cart in the trailer you could drive. You should drive this weekend. And Darren Rudolph's going to give me a motor. So I agreed to it. I think I went back to the hotel room and called Mark Miller and told Mark Miller, if I die, take care of my wife at the time. I literally made that phone call because I was that drunk. And I think I started 35th in Yamaha pipe heavy. And I think I came up to 12th. It was wild.
A stellar time was had by all.
It was awesome. But I do remember coming off the track feeling like I was an absolute rock star. I'm 12th. Scott Evans won the race, I think. And I said to Scott, I go, Scott, it'll turn 5 there, whatever it is. I coming through that right-hander there, dude. I didn't even brake until the manhole cover. And he looked at me straight and he goes, Rob, all I do there is breathe it a little bit.
Break.
Jesus. Yeah, I was. Yeah. I thought I was a rock star, but Scott Evans, of course, another legend.
Yeah.
So that's my Quincy story. I'm excited to get back. I look forward to working with Randy on the microphone. Just to be part of the event is huge for me. To add it to the EK and Trackside Live Tour makes me super happy, and to get a chance to run a Margay again at Ignite Masters, I'm thrilled. And
we're not going to decide on Saturday night. We already know in advance.
We know.
We're going to plan. We've gotten a lot older and wiser now. So we're going to plan in advance.
Let me say this, though. I'll tell you this. When the IndyCar schedule came out, the new IndyCar schedule came out, I braced myself, right? Because everything's going to be squished in.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. Well, what am I not going to be able to do? Quincy, safe. Brickyard, safe.
Perfect.
And Rock Island Grand Prix all of a sudden open.
Nice. Oh yeah,
because
right. Sure.
I usually go to Portland on that weekend, right? The Portland race is Labor Day weekend. They moved Portland to they pushed Portland a week in, Gateway week down. I'm off Labor Day weekend.
Nice.
I may be able to go back to Rock Island, which is super exciting to me. I thought I would never be there again.
Geez, with all the seat time in the Ignite cart between now and then, there's no reason you can't win Rock Island.
Until Tony Nielsen joins up and he screws me over again. Like he did the year they started the 206 Masters class. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. Greg Dingus and we're going to figure this out. We're going to win. Oh, Tony Nielsen's running. 30 years of age.
Yeah.
1 more year, he would have been ineligible.
Yeah, okay. Recalibrate at that point.
I did qualify. Listen, I qualified second to Tony. I figured that I was first in class.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right? He was 30. I think I was 45 at the time.
Yeah.
So I felt I was like at Super Masters. I felt that was all right. I'm really excited about it for sure. You got to be, again, it's like you said, 2019, Keith, such a great year for Margay, such a great year for that Ignite program, so much growth. The track in Hastings, Nebraska, you guys are adding because there's so much interest. You're adding more tracks and more racers and more customers. For me, I look at the last decade and I think there are two, I think the biggest stories. The first, the fact that the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour, in the 25 years I've been doing this, it was able to last for 10 years, and it's still going now.
Yeah,
because how many times we've seen national series get eaten up, right?
Sure.
The next series comes in, it was SCUSA Pro Tour, then it was Stars of Karting, then it was the Championship Karting International, the CKI, and then there was a couple of years off.
Yeah,
SCUSA, through all the battling,
yep.
We know what happened with the industry. They were able to stay with a national series, get up to over 200. That's good for national level racing. It's good for the industry at that level for sure.
Yep.
The Margay Ignite program, hands down, easily, right there with SCUSA as the success story, I believe, of the last decade.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. We've worked hard at it, and we've just had a lot of tremendous support along the way, and a lot of great customers that we've gotten to know, and our extended family has kept extending. And I've just, I hate to keep saying I've been doing this for a long time, but I've been doing it for a long time and gotten to work with a lot of people, great people over the years. But the group of people that we get to work with these days is just, I love going to the track again. I really enjoy going to the track. I really enjoy working with the customers. It's all good. So had a great year last year, fantastic year. So pumped up to get started this year. Thought, man, we're going to kill it this year. And then had our legs kicked out from under us, as did everybody. But I feel like we're in a good position. I feel like we're going to hit the ground running again as soon as we all get back to normal, and just looking forward to that time. And we will be ready to go. And we hope all of our customers will be ready to go. I know you'll be ready to go.
I'm ready
now. Appreciate all of your support and can't wait to get you in the cart or the bar or both at
Yes.
Quincy. Looking
Yes.
forward to both of those,
Love it.
and can't wait till I get to see you again at the track.
Well, I'll tell you, folks, I was not worried at all that Keith and I would be able to fill up a show. We're at the 49-minute mark with a couple of breaks there, so not surprising that had a lot to talk about. But of course, as Keith said, Margay is such a fantastic program. They're going to have a great year again when they get launched. More tracks coming on board. Oakland Valley Raceway Park. Tim Hannon doing some racing actually down at the SCUSA Winter Series with the first Margay Ignite Major of the season. He was down for both of those races. Big time supporter of it now, so we'll see that at Oakland Valley. Sean Bailiff and the good folks at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati with their new Pro-Am Championship. Yep. They'll have the Margay Ignite program there as well, and I'm sure that Sean will be bringing his Ignite racers to majors around the country as well. Again, big thank you to Keith Freber for joining us here on the EKN Radio Network, folks. Lots of content coming. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to download the EKN Radio Network app if you haven't already to your phone.
And also, make sure to support local karting.
This is hashtag support local karting, folks. That's what it's all about. We talked about it already. When you've listened to this, pick up the phone, call your local kart shop. Call the guy that is with you trackside, the guy you go to every Saturday morning to get whatever it is, oil, fuel, whatever. If you can spend any money with that guy and that girl, do that now. That family needs you right now. They're going to be there when you come back racing, but they need you right now. So call your local kart shop as soon as we're done here. Spend a bit of money. Make sure they are good to go until we get started racing once again. On behalf of Keith Freber, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.